Day 29, Ionic Compounds with Polyatomic Ions, Part 4. Today we're going to go and grab our periodic table of ions and we're going to look at +3 ions. Then we're going to look at our polyatomic ion sheet and we're going to use polyatomic ions that are -1 and -2. Our first ion is going to be aluminum. Aluminum is a +3 ion, and we're going to mix that with nitrate, NO3. That's a polyatomic ion with a charge of -1. Now, in order to get to 0, we're going to need 3 of these nitrate ions. Notice I have 3 of them here. +3, -1, -1, -1 equals 0. So we have 1 of the aluminum ions and 3 of the nitrate ions. Aluminum, nitrate. Aluminum +3, nitrate, NO3 has a -1 charge. Play the crisscross game. We're going to have aluminum, parentheses, NO3, nitrate. Aluminum, nitrate. Now we want to pick other +3 charges like gallium, indium, or yttrium. And we're going to combine that with other polyatomic ions that are -1. And so since they all have the same formula, +3, -1, -1, -1 equals 0, I'm going to need 1 of the +3 ions and 3 of the identical polyatomic ions. So nitrite, 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 I need 3 of those to mix with gallium, gallium, nitrite, indium, hypochlorite, indium chlorite, yttrium chlorate. So what would be the formula for yttrium perchlorate? Yttrium is a +3, and remember ClO4, that is perchlorate, and that is a -1 charge. Play that crisscross game. Yttrium perchlorate, ClO4, I need 3 of them. Bring that 3 down, bring the 1 down. Yttrium perchlorate. Perchlorate. Notice that the perchlorate has 4 oxygens, the chlorate has 3 oxygens, the chlorite 2 oxygens, and the hypochlorite has only 1 oxygen. Knowing the names of those polyatomic ions really help in naming the chemical compound. Let's use our other math equation. +3 +3 -2 -2 -2 equals 0. So again, I'm going to start off with aluminum. These are +3 ions, but now I'm going to use a polyatomic ion that is a -2, like sulfate. Sulfate has a -2 charge. So I'm going to get Al2, because I have 2 of the aluminum ions, and sulfate, I have 3 of those ions. So my formula is going to be Al2, parentheses, SO4, close the parentheses, subscript 3, aluminum sulfate. If I had aluminum sulfite, aluminum +3, sulfite is SO3, that has a charge of -2. Aluminum sulfite, well, I'm going to need Al +3, that gives me a +6 altogether. This is a sulfite, has a -2 charge. I'm going to need 3 of these sulfite ions. So I'm going to have Al2, parentheses, SO3, close my parentheses, subscript 3. What I could also do is take my aluminum, my +3, and my sulfite, SO3, -2 charge. I can just go ahead and play that crisscross game. And I'll get Al2, parentheses, SO3, close my parentheses, subscript 3. I bring the 2 down, and I bring the 3 down. And I write out my chemical formula. And the name of this chemical formula is aluminum sulfite. Aluminum sulfite. Let's move on to gallium. Gallium is a +3 charge, and sulfite's a -2 charge. What if I gave you this formula? What if I gave that formula to you? And I asked, hey, what's the charge of sulfite? Now you should have already remembered from your polyatomic ion table that sulfite was -2. But let's go ahead and calculate it. gallium, Ga2, parentheses, SO3, close my parentheses, 3. So I'm just writing out the formula again. Now you did need to know that gallium only forms +3 ions, and you memorized that from your periodic table of ions, or you looked it up. So gallium is a +3. +3, you look it up because sometimes we forget. So it's nice to have that periodic table of ions handy, and that's okay. The whole point is to make sure you know what you're doing. So if you have to have that periodic table with you and you don't have it memorized yet, that's okay. Just keep working. You'll remember them. Gallium is a +3. +3 times 2 is a +6. +6 plus some other number have to be equal to 0, and that number is a -6. So +6 minus 6 equals 0. Sulfite, I have 3 of them. So some number, some charge up here, times 3 is a -6, and that charge is -2. So I know my sulfite has a charge of -2. Let's look at the others. They follow the same formula. Indium is a +3, yttrium a +3. I'm just going to choose different polyatomic ions like carbonate, peroxide, and chromate, and just shove them together. So I'm going to have to use 2 of the +3 ions and 3 of the -2 ions to follow the formula. We're going to get indium carbonate, indium peroxide, and yttrium chromate. Let's say I have aluminum and it's a +3, and let's say I wanted to say peroxide. Peroxide is 2 oxygens bonded together that gives a -2 charge. So this whole unit, this whole thing I'm calling peroxide, has a -2 charge to it. So if I asked you to write out the formula for aluminum peroxide, what you would do is you would say, hey, let's play that crisscross game, and you would get Al2, and then you would say O2, that's in parentheses, and then subscript 3. Aluminum peroxide. That's how we would write out the chemical formula. Or what we could do is say aluminum, which is a +3, and peroxide, which is a -2. I have to get to 0. My formula, when I have a +3 and -2, my formula is +3 +3, so I need another one of these aluminums, -2, so I need 2 more of these peroxides. 2 more of the peroxides. So when I have a +3 and a -2, my math formula, +3 +3 -2 -2 -2, that's how I get to 0. So since I'm at 0 now, I have 2 of the aluminum ions, and how many of these peroxide ions do I have? 1, 2, 3 of them. Aluminum peroxide. I'm hoping you're finding these a little bit easier and you're gaining that confidence. It just seems easier when you're having fun. So I hope you're having fun. Go have a great day.